Now, men who fought during the Second World War in the Normandy D-Day landings and showed exceptional bravery, as they all did, have rightly been given the highest French military decoration, the Légion d'honneur. Several were recognised early this week in Walsall. Joining me now to talk about it is Professor Rashid Gatrad. Welcome to the programme. It's a long time back, isn't it? They've waited a long time for these.
Indeed, I think when I spoke to some of the veterans, they were so excited about it, and one or two of them did tell me that it was a long time coming. And the group of people that I met, there were 6 of them, really fantastic people.
Because they've got to be late 80s into their 90s, surely.
Yeah, very infirm. One or two of them weren't with it, unfortunately. But those that were able to, I don't know whether they were making up the story or not, but I think one can believe what they were saying.
I was actually about to ask you what their recollection was of it, because you do find some people who went through things like this and they just never talk about it. And you get others who are very happy to do so.
One of them was, he was telling me that as they landed, and there were 62,000 on D-Day that landed, the British, and as soon as they landed, he was in 2 foot of water, and a lot of people around him were shot and died, obviously, and 1 or 2 of them were wounded. But he actually dunked in the water and saved himself, and then had to go to this old derelict building and form the communication, which is what he was really expert on.
So how on earth have the French gone about finding these people?
Well, what happened was that they contacted the Ministry of Defense, and Ministry of Defense has, because I think the veterans are well known anyway, and the veterans themselves, once they knew about this honor that was being put forward by the accolade that was given to them by the French president, they had to put in their application to the MOD, who would then ratify it and send it through to the French Council.
Now, there were, what, six people, is that right, in Walsall this week?
In Walsall there were 6 people that were veterans of the World War II, and there were 7 ladies that I met. They were the land girls,
right,
who were looking after I suppose, the land, the farm, the economy, whilst the men were fighting. Yeah.
As I say, it is a very long time ago. It's 70 years, isn't it? And yet there is we seem to have an even stronger appetite at the moment, for remembering these things and saying, look, there aren't many of these guys left. We should be remembering exactly what they did, because it's almost impossible for us sitting here to try and imagine what they went through. It
was an absolute honor meeting them, I must say. Some of the stories that they gave were really harrowing. And it was very humbling talking to them. And certainly as far as the lieutenants is concerned, one of the key duties that Her Majesty places on us is to make sure that we actually take part in and support all activities that are to do with armed forces, veterans or whatever, and because they have been very much part of our life, our fabric, and obviously have been very important in the defense of the country.
We have a picture of you at the moment. Yes. With a gentleman there who is clearly enjoying his moment, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. This is a chap who actually told me the story that I mentioned. Actually, I've met so many people I can't remember his name, but there were 6 of them that I spoke to. But obviously, at the same time, you're talking to their relatives and friends and daughters who are very proud to be there whilst they received the accolade. Yes.
Is it kind of the equivalent of the Victoria Cross? Is that what the Légion d'honneur is?
No, actually, the thing is that I didn't know anything about this until I got involved with this. This is given to, there are 5 grades of it, and most of them are given to the French people. But in this particular case, there is a category that they can give to people abroad that have shown valor, either military or even civil. In this case, obviously military. And I would imagine this is probably one of the lower levels of the honor of the Legion. Yeah.
What those that you were able to talk to, what sort of a feeling did they feel they were going in and that they were the front line and they were the people who could help the French? Did they have that sort of feeling at the time, or were they soldiers who were told, go here, do this, do that?
One of the chappies told me that you do what they tell you to do. And I think it wasn't so much the fact that they were actually supporting France or liberating France. I think what came through quite clearly was how proud they were to be British. That is something that actually came through clearly, talking to all of them, including the families.
I gather some 3,000 have applied already for this.
3,000 applied very quickly within a few months, and I think 2,000 of them have already been awarded. This has been going on for 2 or 3 years now, because it was at the 70th anniversary of D-Day a couple of years ago that Francois Hollande said that he would give these honours to people.
And of course, you are there very much as the Queen's representative on these occasions, aren't you?
Sure, yes, indeed. It's an honour to be able to do this. I think I've learned more about the First and the Second World War whilst I've been a deputy lieutenant than I did at school. Yeah.
And of course, it's and we have you there on the microphone with, and presumably the gentleman to your right as we look there was one of the recipients.
He was indeed, yes.
And boy, does he look very smartly dressed.
He does indeed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they are great occasions for them. I mean, the thing was as well, I mean, it's easy to think, oh, the D-Day landing in Normandy, but of course they played such a significant part in liberation, didn't they?
Absolutely. I mean, liberation of Paris was about 9 months later, and I think the war came to an end around that time. So the D-Day was just the beginning of the end for the enemy. Yeah.
And as you say, there is no better way for you, even now, for a history lesson, to learn exactly what happened to
Absolutely.
these people.
I mean, I was excited meeting them, and I was humbled, as I said, but I'm really pleased that I was able to meet them and talk to them, because remember, in the next few years, they may not be there.
Yeah, that's right. They've come pretty well to the end, haven't they? Because I say most of them will be around the age of 90. Well, it was a terrific thing to be involved with. We appreciate your being with us. Professor Rashid Gatrad, thank you for joining us.